Hi, I'm Sophie, and I used to think my art history degree was completely useless. I'd spent 4 years studying Renaissance manuscripts and medieval forgeries, only to end up waiting tables at the Golden Oak, Manhattan's most exclusive restaurant. But that useless knowledge was about to make me a target, and eventually, a hero. It started on a Tuesday evening when Richard Caldwell walked into our private dining room with 3 suited men carrying a metal briefcase. Caldwell was one of those billionaires everyone knew. Tech mogul turned art collector, always in the news for his latest acquisition. "Sophie, we'll need absolute privacy tonight," my manager Tom said nervously. "Mr. Caldwell is entertaining very important guests." "Of course," I replied, straightening my apron. I served their first course while they talked business. Then Caldwell opened the briefcase with theatrical flair. "Gentlemen, behold," he announced, "a letter written by Leonardo da Vinci himself in 1504, describing his plans for a flying machine, authenticated and appraised at $200 million. My heart stopped. I'd written my thesis on Da Vinci forgeries. From where I stood, I could see the ink patterns, the paper texture, the handwriting style. "Mr. Caldwell," one investor said, "this would be the cornerstone of our museum's collection." "Indeed," Caldwell replied smoothly, "which is why I'm offering you exclusive investment opportunity. Fund the museum wing, and this beauty becomes its permanent home." I refilled water glasses, hands shaking. The paper was too white, the ink too uniform. The handwriting lacked Da Vinci's characteristic mirror writing quirks. "Sophie, you look pale," Caldwell said suddenly, his sharp eyes locking onto mine. "Something wrong?" "No, sir," I managed. "Just warm in here." "Perhaps you should take a break," he said coldly. "We wouldn't want you fainting near priceless artifacts." I retreated to the kitchen, my mind racing. "You okay?" my coworker Jenny asked. "That document is fake," I whispered. "I'm absolutely certain." "Sophie, that's Richard Caldwell. He doesn't need to fake anything." "Which is exactly why he'd get away with it," I said. The next day, my manager called me into his office. "Sophie, I'm afraid we're letting you go," Tom said, not meeting my eyes. "What? Why?" "Mr. Caldwell called personally. He said you made him uncomfortable staring at his documents. He's a valued customer and—" "He's a fraud," I interrupted. "That letter was fake." "That's a serious accusation," Tom warned. "I'd be very careful what you say about men like Richard Caldwell. He has lawyers who eat people like us for breakfast." I walked out, unemployed but determined. That evening, I called my brother Marcus. "You're telling me a billionaire is running a $200 million con?" Marcus asked skeptically. "Yes," I insisted. "Marcus, I spent years studying this. I know a forgery when I see one." "Okay, let's say you're right. What's your play?" "I need proof," I said. "Real, documented proof that would hold up in court." "Then you need Detective Maria Chen," Marcus said. "She handled that gallery fraud case last year. She specializes in art crimes." "Can you get me a meeting?" "I'll try," Marcus promised. "But Sophie, be careful. If this guy is running a scam this big, he won't hesitate to destroy you." Detective Chen met me at a coffee shop 3 days later. "Your brother says you witnessed a crime," she said directly. "Art fraud," I replied. Richard Caldwell showed investors what he claimed was an authenticated Da Vinci letter. It's fake. "That's a bold claim. How can you be certain?" "I have a master's in Renaissance art authentication," I explained. "The paper composition, ink oxidation patterns, and handwriting analysis all point to modern forgery. The paper was too bright. Authentic 16th century paper yellows distinctly. The ink showed none of the expected iron gall deterioration, and Da Vinci wrote in mirror script with specific quirks this forger didn't replicate." Chen's expression sharpened. "You can testify to this?" "Absolutely, but I need access to the document for proper analysis. That's where it gets complicated, Chen said. We can't just demand to inspect a billionaire's property without cause. What if I could get you cause? I asked. How? Caldwell is courting investors for a museum deal. He's scheduled to present the letter to the Metropolitan Board next month. It's public record. If we can get an independent expert to question its authenticity publicly, you'd have grounds for investigation. Chen nodded slowly. I know someone. Dr. James Harrison, former curator at the Smithsonian. He's exposed forgeries before. Would he help? If the evidence is compelling enough. Can you document what you saw? I pulled out my notebook. I sketched the document from memory that night, every detail I could recall. Chen studied my drawings. This is thorough. Very thorough. I've been training for this my whole life, I said. I just didn't think I'd use it to catch a billionaire. Let me contact Dr. Harrison, Chen said. In the meantime, document everything, every conversation, every interaction you had with Caldwell. Over the next 2 weeks, I built my case. I wrote detailed statements about the viewing, researched Caldwell's previous acquisitions, and discovered something interesting. 3 other authenticated pieces he'd sold in the past 5 years had quietly been disputed by experts after purchase. Sophie, look at this, Marcus said, showing me his laptop. Caldwell bought a small authentication firm 2 years ago. Guess who's been certifying all his recent acquisitions? His own company, I breathed. He's not just selling forgeries. He's created an entire fake authentication infrastructure. Dr. Harrison finally agreed to meet us. These observations are consistent with modern forgery, he confirmed after reviewing my documentation. The lack of proper aging, the suspicious ink composition. Yes, I'd stake my reputation this deserves investigation. Will you request to examine it before the Met presentation? Chen asked. I'll do better, Harrison said. I'll attend the presentation and challenge it publicly. The Met won't ignore concerns from someone with my credentials. Caldwell will know I'm behind this, I worried. Probably, Chen agreed. Which is why we need to move fast once Harrison makes his challenge. Caldwell will try to hide or destroy evidence. What about Sophie's safety? Marcus demanded. I'll assign protection if needed, Chen promised. But Sophie, are you sure you want to do this? This man has unlimited resources. I thought about all those investors, the museum, the public trust being violated. I'm sure, I said firmly. Someone has to stop him. The Metropolitan Museum boardroom was packed when Dr. Harrison stood up during Caldwell's presentation. Mr. Caldwell, I have serious concerns about this document's authenticity, Harrison announced. Caldwell's face darkened. On what grounds? The paper composition, ink analysis, and paleographic inconsistencies all suggest modern forgery, Harrison stated calmly. This letter has been authenticated by Prestige Art Authentication, Caldwell countered. A firm you own, Harrison replied. I'm formally requesting independent laboratory analysis before any transaction proceeds. The room erupted. Investors demanded answers. Museum board members looked horrified. Caldwell spotted me standing in the back with Detective Chen. You, he hissed, striding toward me. You put him up to this. I reported what I witnessed, I said steadily. You're a waitress. What could you possibly know? I have a master's degree in Renaissance art authentication from Columbia, I replied. I know a forgery when I see one. Mr. Caldwell, Chen intervened, showing her badge. I'm Detective Maria Chen, Art Fraud Division. We have enough probable cause to request examination of the document. This is harassment, Caldwell shouted. "I'll have all your jobs." "You're welcome to try," Chen said calmly. "But first, surrender the document for forensic analysis, or I'll obtain a warrant." Caldwell's lawyer, Victor, stepped forward. "Detective, my client is willing to cooperate fully. However, the document is already packed for transport," Caldwell interrupted hastily. "Back to my vault." "Then we'll meet you there," Chen said. "Now." At Caldwell's penthouse, things fell apart quickly. While Victor stalled, demanding warrants and making calls, Chen's team had already begun investigating. "Detective," an officer called. "We found the authentication files. They're completely fabricated. Fake lab reports, forged expert signatures, everything." Caldwell's face went white. "Those are confidential business documents." "They're evidence of fraud," Chen corrected. "Richard Caldwell, you're under arrest for wire fraud, forgery, and conspiracy to commit theft." "You can't prove anything," Caldwell shouted as officers handcuffed him. "Actually, we can," Detective Chen said, nodding to Dr. Harrison. Harrison carefully examined the document under proper lighting. "Confirmed forgery. The ink is less than 5 years old, and the paper is modern stock treated to appear aged. Quite sophisticated, but unmistakably fake." "I want my lawyer," Caldwell demanded. "He's right here," Chen said dryly, gesturing to Victor, who looked equally panicked. As they led Caldwell away, he locked eyes with me. "You've destroyed everything over nothing," he spat. "That letter would have funded important cultural programs." "With stolen money, based on lies," I replied. "That's not philanthropy. It's a con." Marcus put his arm around my shoulders. "You did it, Sophie." "We all did," I said, watching Caldwell disappear into a police car. The trial lasted 6 weeks. I sat in the witness box on day 12, facing the prosecutor. "Miss Sophie, can you explain how you identified the forgery?" she asked. "The paper was wrong," I said. "Authentic 16th century documents show specific aging patterns: foxing, yellowing, fiber breakdown. This paper was too white, too uniform. And the defense claims you only saw it briefly while serving dinner. How could you be certain?" "I've studied thousands of Renaissance documents," I replied. "When you know what to look for, even seconds are enough." The defense attorney stood. "Miss Sophie, you were fired from your restaurant job, correct?" "Yes," I said. "Isn't it true you made these accusations out of spite against Mr. Caldwell for getting you fired?" "No," I said firmly. "I reported the forgery first. He had me fired to silence me." "You expect this jury to believe a waitress knows more than professional authenticators?" "I expect them to believe the evidence," I replied. "The laboratory analysis confirmed everything I reported. The ink is modern. The paper is modern. The handwriting doesn't match Da Vinci's documented style. Those are facts, not opinions." Dr. Harrison testified next. "Dr. Harrison," the prosecutor asked, "what did your analysis reveal?" "Complete fraud," Harrison stated. "The document couldn't possibly be from 1504. Carbon dating placed the paper at less than 10 years old. And Mr. Caldwell's authentication company certified it as genuine?" "They did, which is why I examined their other certifications. 73 documents they authenticated are confirmed forgeries." The courtroom gasped. During sentencing, Caldwell's lawyer made a final plea. "Your Honor, my client wishes to address Ms. Sophie directly," the lawyer said. The judge nodded. "Mr. Caldwell, you may speak." Caldwell stood, looking diminished in his orange jumpsuit. "Sophie, I'm sorry. I let greed consume me. I never meant—" "Stop," I interrupted. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. Please, I'm trying to apologize. You fired me, I said coldly. You tried to destroy my credibility. You threatened Detective Chen. You defrauded hundreds of people out of millions of dollars, and you'd still be doing it if I hadn't stopped you. Everyone deserves forgiveness, he pleaded. No, I said. Some people deserve exactly what they've earned. You made calculated choices for 7 years. Now face the consequences. The judge interrupted. Mr. Caldwell, I'm sentencing you to 18 years in federal prison and ordering restitution of $547 million. After the verdict, Dr. Harrison approached me outside the courthouse. Sophie, the Metropolitan Museum wants to offer you a position, he said. Doing what? I asked, stunned. Assistant Director of Authentication. You'd work directly under me, examining acquisitions and training new curators. I was a waitress 3 months ago, I said. And you exposed the biggest art fraud in decades, Harrison replied. Your expertise is precisely what we need. Will you accept? Yes, I said immediately. Absolutely yes. That evening, Marcus threw a celebration at the Golden Oak. To Sophie, he toasted, who trusted herself when nobody else did. Detective Chen raised her glass. We're still finding Caldwell's victims. Your testimony is helping dozens recover their money. How many victims total? I asked. At least 200, Chen replied. Museums, private collectors, investment funds. Your case opened everything up. That's incredible, Marcus said. It's justice, I corrected. Real accountability for real harm. Have you heard from Caldwell? Marcus asked. 3 letters from prison, I replied. All apologies. I didn't respond to any. Will you ever respond? Chen asked. Never, I said firmly. Some people don't earn forgiveness. They earn consequences. Good, Chen said. Stay strong on that. Jenny, my former co-worker, approached our table. Sophie, I owe you an apology. I didn't believe you about Caldwell. You weren't the only one, I said. But I should have trusted you, Jenny insisted. You were my friend and I dismissed you. I'm sorry. Thank you, I said. That means a lot. Today, I authenticate Renaissance manuscripts for America's greatest museum. Every document I examine reminds me of that Tuesday evening when I was just a waitress who dared to trust what I knew. Caldwell's letters still arrive occasionally. I never open them. He earned his fate, and I earned mine. Have you ever known something important that everyone else dismissed because of your job or background? What would you have done in my situation? Stayed silent? Or risked everything for the truth? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.